Okay, do we have Miss Tanya Bond with us?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
We can.
How are you all? I apologize. I had a doctor's appointment in Knoxville that they could not schedule in any of the days off, which just, it is what it is. But anyways, I apologize for not being there in person, or I would be there. We are just continuing with our map testing makeup days. That window has been extended for that benchmark testing until the 15th. So we hope to get everybody finished by that date. Our 7th and 8th grade laptops have been delivered to the school. So parents out there, if you have not signed that permission form, please get online to do that. If you'll go to scottcounty.net, you'll find that permission slip. We will not be sending any paper permission slips home. If your child does not have internet access, our teachers will be reaching out to you so they can fill that out for you online. Now, again, that online permission slip does not mean that if little Johnny drops his computer and it breaks, that you have to pay for that. We know that accidents happen. What that permission slip allows is for those computers to be sent home, which is what we would like to happen, so these kids will have access whenever we have to go digital, whether we have to go virtual, and not just because of COVID. Little Johnny may be out sick because he's running a temp or he has strep or whatever. Guess what? They can still access all those assignments online. It doesn't have to be just for this COVID virus. It could be for anything. May have to go to the dentist, whatever it is, that's what that is used for. But we just highly encourage you to get those permission slips sent in. That way those computers can travel back and forth with your child. And again, we know that accidents happen. We know that things happen. Please don't think that that permission slip is making you liable for everything that goes on. We will take care of that. What that does do is allow for our tech department, if something was to happen to those laptops, they will get on that. They'll fix that. They'll do whatever they need to do. And I'm sure Mr. Greg will probably explain that a little bit more later. But I'm really excited. I think the kids are excited to be able to have those in their hands this week. So I want to thank the tech department for that. As Mr. Hall said earlier, we did have a ball game with Robbins last night. There was asked about people wearing masks. Miss Amy Jeffers and her staff, and that their parents, everybody was wearing masks when they came in. Everybody was social distancing. Officer Sexton was there and was monitoring everything. So everybody did such a great job last night. So I appreciate that. We had about 45, if I counted correctly, spectators there last night, not counting the ball teams, but everything went really well. Again, we're hitting the ground running as much as we can run this new year. It's kind of hard to wrap my mind around that, but other than that, I don't have anything. I don't have anything for the agenda.
Okay, thank you. How about Mr. Cash with Fairview?
I'm just pretty much echoing what Miss Pond said. That's going to take me a while to get used to that. So, I hope
Me too.
Me too.
I hope both of you give me a little leeway, because I'm sure I'm going to make some mistakes. But we are continuing map testing as well. We were able to get some grades completed before Christmas, but for the most part, we're going to be doing that this week and next week. So that I'm glad that window got extended, so those kids will be able to test. Also, thank you to the tech guys. Greg and his guys are wonderful. They brought the laptops for 7th and 8th grade yesterday, and we'll start handing those out tomorrow. Just like Miss Tanya said, encourage the parents. If you haven't already, please get online and complete that form, and we'll get those out to the students. We want them in their hands as soon as we can. Teachers are looking forward to that as well. Also, we did start basketball back last night. Everything went well there. Crowds was way down, especially for a Huntsville game, but we did what we had to do to get the ball game in, and it's always for the kids. We do have our last home game will be Thursday against Birchfield, and then next week's the last week of regular season games. So, our middle school season is rapidly. It seems like you haven't played a lot, but it's almost over too. So I'm really thankful for all my staff and my coaches and my players and their parents for their understanding and we're just trying to get the season in and just allowing the kids to play as best we can. And I don't have anything for the agenda. I still want to encourage parents to, if their kid is sick, to please stay home and call the school, and we'll work with you the best we can. We'll make arrangements for that. And that's all I have, unless you guys have anything for me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hamilton with Huntsville Elementary.
Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good. First, congratulations, Miss Tanya and Mr. Greg, on that wonderful occasion that just happened. I'm glad to see everybody that's back and all the kids. It was past 2 days, it's been great seeing them all come in smiling, ready to go. Reminder that all those grade cards and everything are coming home, so watch for those. We are also finishing up with testing and getting all that made up and ready for us to look at all that data. And I'd like to also say thank you to everyone who's doing all the work in behind the scenes, getting these vaccines ready and just getting all of our kids back in school. Everything everybody's doing that nobody sees going on. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for all your support and help. And that's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Okay, thank you. And how about Ms. Goodman with Huntsville Middle?
She's not in the call.
Is that an appointment? Yeah, she's.
Oh, okay, okay.
She's good looking.
How about Ms. Jeffers with Robbins? Miss Amy?
She's not in the call.
How about Miss Rector?
I'm right here.
Here you are.
I was on my way home, so I figured I'd just stop by.
Good.
All right, so laptops, I'll echo Miss Tanya there. We were able, Greg and the guys were able to get our laptops out to us actually right before Christmas. And so we kind of did a little speed round of giving those out, which try to be the guinea pigs for everybody else and work out some of the kinks there. As kids can come by and pick those up. So we were able to get about a quarter of those out before Christmas. And then we've worked on that the last couple of days as well as the kids have come back from the new semester and getting those out. So having a lot of success with that. But again, encourage parents, if they have not gotten online to complete that laptop form, please do that. As soon as they do that and the kids are there, we'll give them their laptop. They can bring that home. And again, to echo what Ms. Tanya said about any concerns that parents may have about the responsibility of those laptops. Again, it's not the goal of anybody to try to punish anybody financially for accidents. We're prepared for those things. We want kids to have access. That's the goal. So we encourage them to do that, and if they have questions about that, they can always call, and we'd be glad to talk to them about those. But laptops are going out to all students grades 9 through 12. So we hope by the end of this week that all of our students who have completed that form, which we're hoping will be in the 90% range, will have all of their computers. So we're really, really excited about that. Just a couple of updates of cleanup from last semester. EOC testing, we were able to get that in and completed and shipped off to the state. And several phone calls and emails later with the state testing department in Pearson. I think they finally got all of that uploaded. We don't have scores yet, but we are expecting those to be released this week. But just to let the board know, remember last time you all voted on that hold harmless policy for those EOC grades. The State Board of Education actually met over the break and voted their own hold harmless policy. So you all are a little bit ahead of them. So now our policy does also have the backing from the State Board of Education that for this school year's EOCs, that those scores can count anywhere from 0 to 25%. And for us locally, it was either 0 to 15% if it only benefited the child. So as soon as we get those in, if that was a benefit for any students, we'll make sure to give them the benefit for that. Okay, so excited about that. We did start with second semester classes this week. We're rolling with those, so students are in 4 new classes, and we're headed into the new year as well. High school basketball started back tonight at Cosby. This is the first game back for both of those teams since before Christmas, actually quite a bit before Christmas. So those guys are glad to get back on the floor and start playing. Home game, we will have a home game on Friday. That will actually be the first home regular season game that we've hosted, which seems a little strange, but and we are going to go ahead and on Friday night, honor those senior basketball players and senior cheerleaders for senior night. We're going to go ahead and do that. We want to make sure that they have the opportunity to be recognized. Normally we would do that with all spring and bring all spring sports in, but we're going to hold on that and just do basketball at this point. And then if we have an opportunity down the road to pull those other spring sports in, then we will. Whether that's in a separate setting or in those spring sports themselves. So we want to make sure those kids have an opportunity to get recognized. Just want to remind everybody of those new game attendance policies and guidelines that we are getting out, just to keep those in mind and make sure they're following those. We really, as I heard Scott say, you know, that middle school season was kind of finishing up. We're still right in the crux in the middle of high school season. So we really want those kids to be able to have an opportunity to finish that out. And if this is what we need to do in order to do that, we realize it's disappointing, but we want the kids to have the opportunity to get on the floor and play. So that's what we'll do. At this time, I am excited to announce that all faculty and staff at Scott High School are healthy. Now that may change tomorrow, but as of right now, we're all healthy and very excited about that, guys. That's the first time I can say that in a very long time. And we had some really serious situations there before Christmas. So very thankful and just grateful and blessed that all of our people who were affected by the coronavirus were able to come through that healthy and safe. Just very thankful for that. And just to give you an update on some virtual academy numbers, we did do the sign up for the third 9 weeks there before Christmas. Had that form posted, that deadline closed before Christmas, so that we were able over Christmas break to get those kids information through and vetted out to their principals, and then get that information to Ms. Lietta, because there's several technical things that have to switch over in order for them to do that. Approximately about 150 students still in the virtual academy. Again, that's an approximate number, but that's what we're looking at there. We're just over 40 in high school numbers, and then the rest are K-8. But that's all that I have, unless y'all have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Stanley with Winfield.
Hi. We are working on grades to end first semester. My teachers have given, I think, the students every opportunity possible to get work in that they were missing there at Christmas. So they have been averaging grades. We've been making lists of data to the parents. Those grade cards will be coming out soon. Also, for any students who need to bring up first semester grades, I have been preparing letters to send out to those parents, and hopefully those letters will go out tomorrow. We do need, and I guess this is, I meant to call Mr. Shannon today. I guess this would be something, I don't know if it's for maintenance or if it would be the county. The stop sign at the end of our driveway coming down the hill from school or going up the hill, that stop sign has been knocked down sometime over Christmas. So we need whoever would be responsible for that to put that back up for us, please. Unfortunately, unlike Ms. Rector, as far as an update on our personnel, it seems like things always hit Winfield last. We do have one teacher out with an active case of COVID right now. We have 2 teachers who are out due to complications after having COVID, and they are having some fairly serious effects from that. So we have those teachers still out, and our prayers are, of course, with them. We are trying to get teacher observations finished up by next Friday. That's a bit challenging to try to get all those worked in, and I know it is for all of the other principals too. We just have a few students to make up map testing, and then we'll be through with that. We were basically pretty much through before Christmas, but we do have a few that we are getting in here at the last minute. Unless they were delivered to the library or computer lab, and I'm not aware of it, and I see Greg shaking his head, so I'm assuming that our laptops have yet to be delivered.
They're not finished yet. We're rolling them out as soon as we get them done.
That's probably the problem with being a W. With Winfield, we need to change names and go to Bond or something.
And I promise you, it was done by alphabetical of the school, not because of the principal.
Well, I know that we are anxiously awaiting those laptops, and we'll be happy to see them coming. I know my teachers, like everybody else has said, they're excited about getting those laptops. I don't have anything for the agenda. We've just been very, very busy as the new year gets started, and we are hitting the ground running. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How about Miss Linda Keaton? Miss Keaton.
Hello, everybody. I am here.
Okay.
Just slow getting unmuted here. Well, as we could expect, as we start back into school after Christmas, the state has all kinds of things for us to do, not only webinars, but surveys and all that. And as Ms. Stanley said, we are working to try to get observations done by January the 15th, along with 15% achievement, choice, and growth. And I kept thinking that maybe they would give us an extension. I did call Dominique, our East Corps person over in Knoxville, and she hadn't heard of any extension. And I do know the governor has opened or planned a legislative session, but it is January 19th that they're going to focus on education. So I don't know if we're going to have everything complete by that January 15th or not. We are trying really hard to get that done, but it has been so difficult with our phase-ins and all the problems we had with the COVID before Christmas while we were trying to get those done. But that has been a big thing that we are working on. Also, I wanted to let principals know, and I'll send out an email in the morning. We are going to participate in the state-sponsored Teacher of the Year program. This is where each of our schools chooses some building level Teachers of the Year that would go to the district level, and then from the district level, those people would go on to the state. So I'll be sending out details, as I said, but we will look for a representative from pre-K 4, 5, 8, and 9, 12. And that entire process has to be done by January 31st. So I am going to ask that we work hard to get our building level persons, people, teachers decided by the middle of next week, like on Wednesday, I think maybe. Not sure if that's the 13th but I will send out something that gives the details on that. I wanted to make mention too, because as we come into the spring, we always do the science fair, the school, and the countywide and everything, and we have decided not to do that this time. But the last word I heard from Clinch Powell, they may still have the Clinch Powell LMU Science Fair for 6th grade. So as soon as I hear about that, and if we do want our 6th graders to participate, it is a wonderful opportunity for them to do projects and even not only learn but earn money from doing that. So as soon as we hear about that, I certainly will let you know. But that's pretty much the specifics. I don't really have anything for the agenda right now. So that is all I have, unless you have a question for me.
Okay, thank you. How about Debbie Sexton with special ed?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Debbie.
All right, we finished up December. We had a lot going on, but we did get that December 1 report in. We had our IEP file folder review. The state had chosen 10 folders, so we got those completed and uploaded. We also completed our private school report, so we got that in. But for the month of January, we have a lot going on again. Yesterday, January the 4th, our monitoring self-assessment opened up, and that is for the federal programs. So that would be IDEA and the title program. So Miss Amanda and I will be busily working on that self-assessment. The district plan also opened up yesterday, so we will be looking at that also. During this month, the state will release our IDEA annual performance report of the 12 indicators for our special ed program here in Scott County. So we're anxiously awaiting that. We will be getting back our IEP monitoring results, and if we have any areas that we have to correct, those will be due back in the state by February the 4th. And then today I found out I have an excess cost calculation report that is due January the 29th. So that will keep me busy, along with just having IEP meetings, eligibility meetings, and reeval meetings, and then also trying to complete some teacher evaluations. So I don't have anything for the agenda, but if you all have any questions, just feel free to ask. If not, that's all that I have, Miss Abbott.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How about Amanda Stevens with finance?
Hello.
Hi, Amanda.
I don't have anything for the agenda for tonight. Some items that I'm working on, like Miss Debbie mentioned, our self-assessment monitoring has opened in ePlan. It's due by March 1st, so it's a long, lengthy document, so I'll be working on that. District plan also opened back up for the year, so I'll be starting to work on that. Also, the excess cost report is due at the end of the month, so I'm working on that. And then I'm sure you all have heard about the second round of federal relief funding. I'm sure Mr. Hall has told you all about it or will tell you about it, but just some information that I've received so far by email. They're referring to it as ESER 2.0. They've added 2 focus key areas that they want us to focus on, and that's addressing learning loss and then addressing facility needs. And we can also, according to them so far, and they said it's subject to change, that we can also spend money on the previous allowable activities that we've done so far. They want us to focus on the 2 new focus areas in addition to the technology sustainability. And then in the email, they also mentioned that we're expected to receive roughly 4 times more than we did in the spring, which they're referring to as the ESER 1.0, but they stress that this is only a general estimate and it may not be accurate. So just wanted to share that information with you, and that's all that I have so far. And that's all I have unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, thank you. What about Keith Murley? Is he with us?
Mr. Murray's not with us today.
Okay. And Mr. Shoemaker, our health coordinator.
I think he's listening, but I don't know if he's able to kind of he's riding somewhere, so he's not.
Okay.
Actually, I'm actually able to talk right now. I'm in a good area, if that's all right with you all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I have nothing for the agenda, but now as far as coordinate school health goes, we're still trying to get into the schools as students are in there and get the vision screening completed. We feel like that's still a very important area for them and for our teachers and for their families. So we're trying to get that completed and wrapped up. And then today we started working very hard on the coronavirus vaccine and how many of our employees are very interested in receiving that vaccine, so that the health department can kind of have a ballpark figure on how many to prepare for. And I've got all those numbers in this afternoon, except for one department, and that's transportation. Of course, they're a little bit harder to get their numbers in where they're not inside of a building, so we should know more about them tomorrow. But as far as everything else goes in all other departments and all other schools, we're sitting at right around 200 employees that are very interested in receiving the vaccination. So very happy about that. Love to see a few more, but very happy about that at the least. And we're just continuing to plug away at the everyday daily things that we have going on. But other than that, unless you have questions, that's all that I have.
Okay, thank you. What about Paulette King with food service?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Well, first I'd like to say it's great to see all of those of you that is part of my COVID family, and that we've been blessed, and that we can be here, and that I would recommend that those of you that haven't had the COVID that you get with Mr. Shoemaker and get a vaccine. As far as the agenda, I do not have anything for the agenda. I'm back at work and glad to be there. And I am working on all the things that I'm needing to do to prepare for next school year. We're working on bids and so forth, and we are continuing to prepare our meals and for pickups, which we're having every Friday. Parents just need to make sure they listen to Miss Leetta when she makes an announcement, so that they know exactly when those times are. And as of now, they are from 1 to 2 p.m. at each of the elementary schools. And we will continue to do that even if we continue to go full time with all students on Fridays, all virtual students will still be able to pick up meals. So I just want to let everybody know that. And that's all I have, unless you all have something for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bond, you'll be next.
Well, I think everybody has kind of already talked about the things that I would be talking about. We've more or less just been working on nothing but laptops. The guys are, they walk in of a morning, get a big stack of them, open them up, start working on them, get them done at the end of the day. Next day, rinse and repeat. So needless to say, I'm starting to get a lot of evil eyes with that. But we started with the top grades and working our way down. So we got Scott High done and hauled out there just before the break, and they've been passing those out. And then we started with our 8th and 7th grade this week, going alphabetically now that we're in the grade levels. So our hope is to, as we get a grade at a school done, we just go ahead and take them out. I'll say again that if any parent hasn't signed, did the little laptop request form that's on the website, I strongly encourage it. It's just something that we have to have to show that the parent has requested that and knows that it would be coming home. if something happens with the student laptop and it needs repaired, we'll repair it. There's no gotchas in this. The money came from the feds for these types of purposes to help people through this pandemic. And so this is one of the ways that we're trying to do to help the local community. The only requirement is right now, third grade and up are the only ones that I can guarantee a laptop at the moment. And to be a Scott County school system student. Still apply, still submit the form if you have a kid that's in the lower grades. That will let us know that if additional monies come about, that that need is there. I feel the need is there anyway, but go ahead and get that signed, and so that when we get them rolled out, you'll be good. Really just putting out fires as per the normal, but it's mostly just working on laptops and making sure everything goes to the right place, because when you're talking about right now, 2,400 pieces of equipment going to that many people, it gets a little bit hectic. So, but that's all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
Mr. Bond, got a quick question. I know you mentioned back during the Christmas break about possibly wanting to look at someone part-time to help with the laptops, to help with the, is that still a need right now that we're looking at that we'd like to do?
Yes, and I'm not talking about I'm not wanting to create a position per se. I didn't know if there was just an ability to bring in someone kind of on a part-time / maybe what's it called? Intern type basis, maybe somebody that's currently
20 hours per week, or
just a few hours a week, because we could really use the help with some of this kind of open the box, image the laptop, configure the laptop and all that stuff, because we've got all of the other issues that we have to normally do. Everything that we were still doing support-wise before all of this started, and now we've got all this laptop deployment on top of that. So if I had somebody I could just bring in a few hours to just kind of do some of those things, it would free up my other crew to go out to schools and do some of the bigger problems that might arise. Gotcha. And then whenever you have the extreme likelihood that at any given point I've got somebody stuck at home on quarantine, that has really made it a challenge this year. And it's no different this week. I've got somebody at home on quarantine right now. So it's pretty much a constant that we have one person not here every week.
Gotcha. I guess my question, Mr. Bailey, this is not going to be a full-time position, and so it's not creating a new position. Will this need something we need to put on the agenda, or can I just go ahead with board approval?
Mr. Hall, I think under the circumstances, you could probably make that hire.
Okay.
As long as the budget, was there and it was appropriated.
Okay.
To work with Mr. Bond in assigning that position on a temporary basis.
Okay. I can call and get with Miss Amanda in the morning and kind of look at some things and see what we can, and then get with Greg and kind of let him know what we can go from there.
Greg, how long are you anticipating? Would this be through the end of the school year, or what are you thinking?
Probably. I don't, because on top of the laptops, we've got a ton of desktops and teacher stations and stuff that we've got to do that we've not, we've not even got started with any of that stuff yet. There's just a lot of things happening. And I was telling Tom today, I foresee this laptop thing pretty much being a constant in our department from now on. That there somewhere in this building, there's going to be a batch of laptops always being configured, reconfigured, bringing, bad ones in, sending new ones out, things like that. But for this immediate need, most likely through the end of the year, I would think.
Well, Bill, I would just work with Greg to assign a part-time position to the end of this school year.
I thought that I would just want to double check and make sure. And I'll get with this man in the morning and we'll look at the budget from there, and get with Greg, kind of finalize the hours and what we do in the days and that sort of thing from there. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shannon, with CTE.
Yes. I don't have anything for the agenda, but as far as maintenance goes, Greg and Greg Claiborne and all of the men that work on that department have been staying busy with the maintenance requests. They've been very efficient with their time. I feel like that they have somewhat gotten ahead a little bit and are able to be working on some bigger projects as well. So we will be being able to get some of those completed here very soon. Also from the maintenance side, I've been making a lot of contact, getting details for potential projects for the school system in the future. Just trying to get some of those things laid out so that they can be discussed. Textbooks, been working. An interesting scenario has kind of been created by the massive ELA textbook adoption that we have just went through. The state of Tennessee has manipulated the cycles of adoption in a manner that it has created a math gap. As it is now, the textbooks that we have under adoption for math will be out of adoption at the end of this year. And unless we do something to buy another series for the next 2 years, we will be without math textbooks for the next 2 years. So I've been working with Miss Amanda. I've been working with her and getting quotes from publishers for textbooks that we can consider getting out for consideration to our schools for these textbooks that we're going to need. So I've been spending a lot of time on that. I think that we've got a good handle on the way that we want to go there and the process that we need to follow to make sure that we address that need. From a CTE standpoint, much like Miss Debbie had mentioned before, we are now seeing the self-assessment tool that our CTE program is going to have to kind of go through the process for self-monitoring. Healthy programs that have not shown any cause for state concern are allowed the self-assessment tool, and that is what we have fallen into this year. So we're very happy about that, and I think that we have got somewhere up until the 1st of February to go through all of those necessary steps. The other thing that is something that will be a very big issue on my desk is the local application for next school year. That is just now beginning to open up and being able to manipulate and work through that data. And that document will be required in at the state by March the 1st. So that'll be something that'll be very time consuming as well. But that's what's going on in our office there. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you. Mr. Hall, you'll be next.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to go over the agenda items for our next regular scheduled board meeting. Approve the first reading of board policy as recommended by the TSBA. Policy number 4.400, textbooks and instructional materials. Policy number 6.303, interrogation and searches. Policy number 6.402, physical examinations and immunizations. And policy number 6.405, medicines. Also, this is the year where we'll need to purchase buses. We'd like to piggyback on the state bid from the state. Talking to Mr. Bowles, looks like we're going to have 5 buses this year that goes out of service. So we will need 5 buses for the next coming school year. But also like to amend the Children's Health and Maintenance Plan Agreement with Alkley, or is it so-called CHAMP, for the 2020-2021 school year, and to hire Kathy West as a grant coordinator. Also would like to extend the COVID relief days and explain this briefly. Up until December 31st of this year, we were given 10 COVID relief days. Now, I've not received anything as far as any extension with that. I'm sure with the governor's next meeting on the 20th, on January 19th, when the legislature gets back in session, something will hopefully take place. What I would like to ask this board to do is to extend that date until March 31st. To me personally, I don't feel like it's fair or equitable to where someone who got 10 COVID days in December, but then somebody else gets sick in January and can't get the 10 COVID days. So we'll go to March 31st, or we'll look at that point in time and see where we are if we need to extend at the end of the school year. If the state hasn't come in and done something by then. If the state does something, we will go with their recommendations or from there. But I would like to ask this board to extend those 10 COVID days for teachers and anyone that works in the system for the 10 COVID relief days.
Did you say March 31st?
March 31st for now. Okay, I'd like to go until now. Like I said, we may hear something the next week or so from the state. I've talked to other districts around. They have not, seen anything or heard of anything. I was kind of hoping yesterday during our commissioners webinar we might hear something, but I didn't. But as for us, I would like as a local decision for us to do it to March 31st. And we need to extend it past from that point, depending on where we are with the COVID at that point. So that's all I have for the items on the agenda. As far as school schedule, of course, this week we're on a phase-in schedule with, on Monday we had grades 1, 5, and 9. Today we had grades 2, 6, 10. Tomorrow we will have grades 3, 7, and 11. On Thursday we will have grades 4, 8, and 12. Friday will be a virtual Friday. Next week, the schedule will look as such. On Monday, grades 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 9 and 10. On Tuesday, grades 3 and 4, 7 and 8, 11 and 12. On Wednesday, grades 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 9 and 10. On Thursday, grades 3 and 4, 7 and 8, 11 and 12. And on Friday, grades 1 and 2, 5 and 6, and 9 and 10. It'll be the first Friday that we've had. We took all virtual Fridays, I think, for the first semester. I think we've had adequate time right now to get things in for our virtual academy for teachers. If possible, we'll always look at the data and look from there to see where we are locally to what we need to as far as school. The plan is right now is to try to start on a regular schedule that following on the 19th. But again, always I will look at the data and see where we are at that point in time. And as always, I want your guys' input when it comes onto that. I do know that everyone around us, I think Oneida is virtual this week. Next week they're on a phase-in. I know Morgan County went back full-time today with everyone. I think Campbell County also went back today with a full schedule with everyone. Anyway, that's kind of the plan for the next 2 weeks. Again, guys, always we'll check data. We'll look at see where we are from a health standpoint with students and our faculty. Back before Christmas, when we made the decision to go virtual, we had a 2-week period to where we had 43 staff members to come down with COVID. And that's not all teachers, but that's all of our staff that was involved, either had direct touch or contact with our students in some way. That wasn't counting the people that were under quarantine at that time. We had nearly 25% of our staff out. So that was the reason why we made the decision to go with a virtual at that point. I do know right now we have probably 1 or 2 per school, with the exception of Scott High. I think they're all healthy. That's the first time in a while. I think Huntsville Middle, to my knowledge, could be all healthy, and also Huntsville Elementary. Also, during that time back before Christmas, it was a tough decision to do that, but it was the best decision at that time. But anyway, that is our schedule for this week and next week. You guys give me, like I said, as we going forward, I'll be getting with you guys, also getting your input when it comes to starting back on the full schedule. Mr. Shoemaker mentioned earlier the COVID vaccine. I did receive some information last Thursday from the health department that possibly our vaccines could be ready into this week. Now, we don't have a date yet for sure. Well, they did contact us today for us to start getting estimates of numbers that will be getting the vaccine. So hopefully, once we get Mr. Shoemaker those numbers to the health department, the next day or two, they will give us a date and get something to our teachers to where they can schedule their vaccination. Now, once that date's confirmed, our people will need to call the health department or go online and schedule their appointment from there. And we'll get more information as Ms. Karen Hamby gets that information to me. Like I said, right now, we don't have a set date when they will start the vaccinations for us. That's very exciting news, very good news, also very comforting. I will say to the people who have had COVID, and if you're considering the vaccine from there, my advice is to call your physician. Ask them what you should do from there. That's what I've done. And so I would suggest anyone who's had the COVID that you get in contact with your physician and make the decision best for you. They say 90 days as far as immunity with this. Who knows? I'm definitely not a medical provider, not going to pretend to be one. But again, like I said, I was going to suggest you call your physician and make the decision best for you on that. I know Mr. Rector mentioned the virtual academy. I have talked with probably some 4 to 5, maybe 6 elementary students who do some serious health issues in the home that we've allowed to go into the virtual academy this week. And I'll always look at any situation when it gets brought to me to make that best decision for the people in that home when it comes to allow people in the virtual academy. I know we have a deadline we put for there per se, but it also gives me the option to make what's the best health decision for the people in that family, and I will continue to do that going forward. Last thing, in this month, January 24th through the 30th is School Board Appreciation Week. And guys, number one, thank you early because it's been since last March. It's been a tough time for teachers and educators, not just Scott County, but across the nation for anyone. And I know you guys hear a lot of things and get ideas and inputs everywhere. But this is just to thank you guys for what you do and for allowing us to do the job that we do. So again, School Board Appreciation Week will be January 24th through the 30th of this year. Also, personally want to thank, and I think Ms. Sharp could say the same thing, prayers for Mr. Tony Sexton, former school board member who served 16 years with Scott County Schools. Thank you to everyone for the prayers, for the reaching out, just for the conversation, passing people, and for their condolences. That means a lot. Tony's a terrific man. He's my brother-in-law, but as I've mentioned, he's more of a brother. I think Ms. Sharp can probably say the same thing when it comes to that. But again, thank you to everyone for your condolences for that. And Ms. Chairman, that's all I have, unless y'all have questions for me.
Okay. Thank you. How about our board members? Tommy Silcox, are you with us?
Is not.
Okay. How about Ms. Carlane?
I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
How about you, Ms. Sharp?
I have talked to several people about the schools and ball games and things. And I'd like, Mr. Hall, for you to consider maybe running this week's schedule, maybe next week too.
Okay, I will.
And just consider it.
I will consider that.
And then going to that next one, the next 2 weeks, because we're going to have Christmas. I'm afraid we're going to have a great increase there.
I will look at that. Like I said, I've just looked at numbers while ago, and I'll do look at that daily, and I definitely will take that into consideration. Absolutely.
I've been watching a lot of the ball games, you know, I told you on the National Federation thing, just to see how they're doing things. And I've talked to lots of people, and the majority of the feeling is that if we're not having school, and we are now partially, that we shouldn't play ball. But then when you talk to parents and grandparents and family members of those kids that are involved, there's a different opinion. And, you know, it's our responsibility to, most of all, to try to keep everyone safe. And I've seen different things at the different games. As I mentioned to you earlier, I watched Alcoa the other night, and they had one set of bleachers pushed completely back and had their ball players spread out 6 feet in front of them. And that was for their holiday classic. And there was almost 100 people there watching the classic. I've watched a game where all the players sitting on the sideline have the mask on. Of course, they have to leave their mask laying in their particular chair when they go into the game. I've heard of a school that lets 4 parents come in for the girls' game. They leave, and the gym is cleaned, and then they let 4 parents come in for the boys' game. So there's just lots of different ways that it can be done to keep everybody safe. And I see the security officers playing a big part in seeing that gets done. And we've got good leaders here, and I would just like to encourage them, and we will support them. Anything extra that they want to do to keep our spectators and our children and everybody safe, we will support them. And as I told you, I'm more than willing to pass a board policy that everybody wear a mask inside the games if we feel like that will keep everybody, you know, safer, because we have lost a prized person recently. So I just want to encourage everybody to do that. Thank you, Linda. Ms. Kim, do you want to add?
I just want to thank everybody for their hard work. And like Linda, myself, I get calls concerned about if there's no school, which we are having some now, about the ball games. And it's just, we just have to try to be as safe as we can to protect everyone.
Absolutely. About you, Mr. Lou Stanley?
No comment. Have nothing to add.
Okay, about Derek Sexton?
Hey, nothing from me. Just want to wish everybody hopefully a happy new year, and thanks everybody for their hard work this year.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Gregg, I want to thank you for the work that you guys are doing. I mean, computers just scared me to death. I was watching a little great-grandson was 2 years old, and he was working that computer, and I thought, oh my gosh.
Well, if they scare you to death, don't walk around this building because they are everywhere.
Okay, have I missed anybody? If not, we will close up shop and go home. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.